So it looks like I'm showing you the same image, but it's very important for me to note that I was using the wrong palette. I was lied to, and when I say I was lied to, it was myself. So the hexa code, I'm just going to call it because I forgot the exact phrase, is C000C0, which was not the color I was using. That's why it did not work correctly. But there's one more thing to show you if I go over here and OBS shows it correctly. So basically just showing you a time skip of how the enemy is going to look like, and basically the behind the scenes of how it was made. And this time I put a green screen so you can actually see the exact differences, and also showing you the other, the variation in between. And I think I'm just going to use this enemy because otherwise I won't finish by Friday. Not that I didn't want to make a new, or I did want to make a completely custom enemy, but as we see Katak Colt and we move on to a new custom character right before the timestamps, I'll explain this in detail later on, but all you need to know, because I showed you what I showed you, is what I showed you. I also bumbled up the intro to the enemy, and I had to basically write a new one from scratch. And by that, I mean, for some reason I deleted the intro line of code, and I don't know why I did that. So, I think we're on Colt, because I spoke even just for 30 seconds and already forgot, but I do know that I'm in Katak. So, for timestamp's sake, as we get into Katak Colt custom character, a new custom character, yeah, I noticed that I added the Valentine's heart for everyone. That's on purpose. So, these 3 custom characters, I think they were made by the same person. But, yeah, to showcase the enemy and the next event in the first Valentine's mystery, we get Strength, second encounter, Knowledge, Takushi-san, Dexterity, and maybe a second mystery. Yeah, second mystery. I'm going crazy for a moment. Yeah, also Illegal Den. Yeah, just going to show that off as I'm slowly getting things done, if for no other reason than to show you how things done. But really, just in case I needed basically self-reflection on how fast it was for me to make certain things. But as we get into this here, it'll happen right away, not really much else to look at. I did not change the trinket item yet, so that's on me. But we have Valentine's Festival, Valentine's End, arms, and then footage. So yeah, we're forced to take Valentine's first. Again, the intent is to take Valentine's first. Also, I added a quote-unquote battle theme, but all I really did was speed up the BGM that I'm using right here, which is taken from the pharmacy. So yeah, that's not much else to say. I think I might just leave us at -1 all. I'm still undecided, but the second event here is just to kind of show you that you're meant to use the trinket. I should probably have added something in here as well, but when you prepare yourself here, the trinket will give you a clue here, although I really should put it on caps, just to show that it is supposed to happen as intended. So, if you can hear the BGM, because it is a little lower, I'm not going to try and blow your ears off. I also did not get a weapon, but it's fine because instead of the Toilet Ghost being a ghost enemy, it is a beast enemy. And there is a kind of a immersive reason behind that. But for the sake of showing off a little more, even though it's not much, we'll assess the enemy and then throw out some kicks, because at least we can do that. I'm also looking to the side because I'm seeing something through my window. But yeah, the information is the exact same with a few tweaks and one sentence, so that's on purpose, and not really much else to say. But we do want to use this here until we can hopefully get a Valentine's heart. I did not increase the odds, so if we don't get one, yeah, we're just taking 3 all damage for no reason. Keep in mind that you aren't supposed to use it more than 3 or 4 times. You will only need up to, if not 4 Valentine's heart to do everything really easily. However, you need at minimum 3 to do things a lot more comfortably, is the plan. How do I plan to do that? Basically, at this point, it's an HP nerf, so shrug. And if you have more than 3 or 4, well, if you don't usually have more than 4 items in your inventory, so there might be ways around it, and obviously the backpack means it's very, very good for this mystery, but no one's using the backpack, so that's why I excuse it. So, yeah, that's pretty much all we have today, aside from other perm stuff. I do want to still talk behind the scenes, because there's no reason not to. And also to keep playing these mysteries back to back with other, at least base mysteries, and maybe even other custom mysteries later on in like 3 or 4 episodes, but again, I do that mainly for gameplay reasons. I also wanted to play on Rash Decisions, but I forgot to actually. So I guess we're just playing on Colt. But yeah, not really much on that point. On the topic of behind the scenes stuff, so if I didn't already mention it after the timestamp, I'll mention it now as we get into another ghost enemy. I didn't bring a I did not bring a weapon. I forgot about that. But that was basically a combination of the headless mannequin and the toilet ghost. So I think it was about the head of the toilet ghost, if you didn't see the behind the scenes flash at the beginning of the video, with the body of the mannequin, and I did my best with what I had. So, also you do get corpse dust from that enemy. Did we get corpse dust from another enemy? We did. That dentist gives you one, but I would like more, so we just tank our luck to the ground and off we go. The corpse dust is something given to you by the toilet ghost. And I swear I didn't just use the the head of the toilet ghost just because no one else runs into her after you run into her once, unless you purposely want to run into her, because there is a reason to. Meta-wise, if it's your first mystery on Harbinger of Doom difficulty specifically, then you can still take toilet ghost immediately and be relatively fine. The 2 to 4 reason is worth it because of the 8 experience from base toilet ghost on top of the corpse dust that you get, so it's well worth it in an experience. If you don't want to take the damage, that's perfectly fine. The other side of that is, yes, you are dealing with a ghost enemy, so if your knowledge is not up to snuff, sad things might happen. But the reason behind that as well is because of the event that gets you into the toilet ghost. You take 2 to 3 reason anyway, minimum, because of possible threat level damage. I'm shrugging in real life. That's all I can really say on that note. So yeah, not much else to say on that. That being said, for the toilet ghost specifically and the mannequin, those are enemies that you don't often run into. I didn't mean to monument here. I'm autopiloting too much. But as we also grab Kyoko, and then we go into a thing to look for a army knife specifically. Yeah, you don't often see the mannequin or the toilet ghost because you usually don't go out of your way to run into them. The mannequin specifically is a much harder encounter. So yeah, I just wanted to at least show off their I was gonna say assets, but that could be taken out of context. You don't often see them, so it's nice to see them more. It's nice to see Mannequin Chan and Toilet Ghost Chan. But anywho, so the other thing to notice is that you might have noticed that after that Toilet Ghost fight in Valentine's, we'll call that the name of the mystery, or Valentine's 26 if you're gonna be more specific. Is that you get 7 experience at the end of that. The normal Toilet Ghost gives you 8. That's on purpose because, again, running to the toilet ghost without risking and not being a ghost encounter is actually, I think, better for you. So that's why I lowered the experience by a tiny little bit, as much as doesn't matter. But yeah, that's the only other thing. I thought I did a strong attack. I did not, so now I'm just taking stamina damage for no reason. That being said, these hearts don't do anything at the moment, so I could just use/eat them /use them to gain stamina back. I should have actually waited because that we have 3 stamina, but for those who this is your first video, the reason for that is because with 3 stamina or 3 reason and below, you can double your damage immediately on turn 1. That's not always going to be the good for you, but for more than a few enemies, it's actually quite nice. Especially if that one turn you can afford to take damage, even if it's -2 all. Because if you're going to take -2 all, you're going to be desperate struggling into an action anyway, so shrug. For example, Infested Girl here, although with 3 stamina we would have lost, we did use hearts, so we healed 1 stamina. So I could have been at 4 stamina, done this, and then desperate struggled next turn. But with this being the case, we might as well just try and take less damage. If the other piece of base advice for anyone new for this video, before I go into other behind-the-scenes stuff, is that, oh, we actually want to gamble here. I think we can. No, this is guaranteed. Okay, never mind. Brace is better here. I was going to say strength is very important. The break point is usually 5 strength, as you saw there. If I did not have 5 strength, I would not have been able to triple boost into 2 attacks. Or triple boost attack twice. The other side of that is being able to brace and do a kick that's guaranteed most of the time. The only time that's not the case is when you get certain curses or status effects that slow down your kick action. But in general, your general actions shrug. So that's that. As for the BGM for at least the first Valentine's Mystery, although if I'm lazy, I'll probably just use the same OGG files because that's what World of Horror uses for both the Valentine's and the Valentine's End, which is how I'm identifying the end version, or the second part of Valentine's, because it is a 2-part of mystery, although I'll speak on that more if I remember to. Yeah, I'll just use the same BGM, but the battle BGM is basically just sped up by like 15-20%. I forgot the exact percentage, but I just did that, and I was like, well, just work with that for now. Specifically, I use Audacity, but you can use anything you want. If you're better at making music, you can use anything you want, literally, as long as you're not going completely crazy on legal terms. But with World of Warcraft custom content, you're normally doing things on a very personal basis, so hopefully there should not be any trouble about that. I think we just take 2 stamina here and go on with our lives. I was going to mention something else, and I forgot what I wanted to mention that I said I was going to mention later on, which is going to be right now. Well, that's all I have to say at the moment until I remember something else. I was talking about the BGM. What am I trying to do? Oftentimes, I like to go back and repeat what I said earlier to myself, whether it's me just working real life, but I'd have to mutter it on my breath because some people don't like someone speaking out of their ear, so I just go back on my words and try to remember what I was doing based on what I was saying. Otherwise, what I normally would do is I have something open. In the case of me being an internet junkie, I have like a text file up and I just write notes down if I think about something that I want to remember and or talk about, work on, so on and so forth. But you get the point. If I'm forgetful, yeah, it helps to kind of write things down or type things down in the case of using a computer. We get Ryoko, we get Iwa, we have low 6 stamina, but those 2 allies are what, like, if I could take 6 stamina and get those 2, get Kyoko and Iwa specifically, every single run, I would do it. They're pretty important. Especially if you plan to do, not kick action, but just weapon attacks in general, although this is very, very painful. Is this guaranteed, though? I think it is. With 5 base, right? Yeah, so 15 plus 17. This should be 17 damage, but I'll prep the wooden bat to throw. It's 18 damage, actually, because the enemy took bonus damage. But you get the point. 17 damage, math. Our doom is quite high, though, so I have to hope that I do better. But the one thing I will note is, or at least for myself, is that next episode we should be back on Rash Decisions, which is a Perm-specific backstory. Yeah, that's all I really want to say. The main reason for that is because I actually want to get through that backstory quite well. I think I actually survived one. If I didn't, let me know. But I feel like I did survive a Rash Decisions backstory autopiloting. And I only remember that because it was a custom character with a katana. But I'm shrugging in real life, as I say. That's not really anything to be proud of because the katana should carry you through at least 75% of your runs. The other 25% depends. I mean, not everyone's playing on playing the way I do. Maybe you're playing on Endless, maybe you are playing with custom mysteries or custom events, so on and so forth. So not all runs are going to be the same for every player. That being said, we do have a downtown investigation, but I think we visited the village twice, so I'm going to swap this police station patrol to the village. We also should level up here. We don't really get anything for it, but we'll do the best with what we've got. But otherwise, as always, before we even get to the bitter end of the run, which may be bitter based on whether I survive or not, I might actually use this shovel. Yeah, I might actually use this shovel. Maybe I can get something done? No, never mind. I'm a liar. I can throw the shovel, but nothing much else of that. Also, you didn't notice, or if you haven't noticed, I haven't been using the strange trinket. I really should, but I haven't because I forgot because I'm trying to survive. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to force you to get more than 4 hearts. You can if you want. You're taking -1 all every time you use it. And the way I was going to also make it work, because I didn't want you to use it on the same enemy, is that I will basically lock you out of, or if you try to use the trinket again, you won't pay the cost, but you won't be able to get another heart, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, you're basically going to run to minimum, or I would suggest 3 enemies minimum to get hearts from, and then afterward, if you run into the boss of Valentine's End, then yeah, you better have 3 or more hearts, because otherwise the boss is going to be quite chunky to chew through. Now, again, I didn't want to make it like a hard stop, you lose button. But basically, you have to chew through a lot of HP. That's all I'm trying to say. And some characters are built to brace against a lot of damage. And I think this, yeah, the Valentine's End boss will be... I thought I could have more. I can, theoretically speaking, but we need more Doom to work with here. I left and didn't pay the leave. I wasn't even autopiloting. There's no excuse for that. But the boss will do no more than -3 all at base, obviously. So taking it at the end, that means you're taking -4. That's on purpose, though. But you get the point at this stage of the, well, me making the custom mystery. Now, Cultist does like that. To note here, the Hunted by the Cult lowered our doom by 5, and we didn't run into a single cultist. So we were definitely luckier on that part. I don't remember my second encounter though. It was whatever was after the first wounded ghost, which again, I didn't want to name the toilet ghost because if you run into the toilet ghost twice for whatever reason, then you won't know which one it is. I think that's fair to say, right? But anywho, I have no idea. I know it wasn't the wounded toilet ghost. I think it was actually the teeth, funny enough. No, it was not. It was something that was only teeth. I'm sorry, but I guess I'll see you in the next video. Nothing much else to say.